What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, man? It's your boy Jay Howard, aka the official Georgia boy. Hey, you're now tuned in to another episode of Fan of Atlanta 365, man. So, if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, man. Like, share, comment if you got something to say, because you know your boy always comment back. Hey, don't forget to tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your dog, tell your cat, tell your snake, tell your rat, and throw in your pet parrot if you have one, man. It's your boy Jay Howard, aka the official Georgia boy. Hey man, we with another show. So I know the Atlanta Falcons are on their bye week, but I still got to get the content out there. I still want to, talk to you guys about the Atlanta Falcons. So we're gonna still have the same segment, a couple of different changes that I will do to this show, just to kind of still talk about the Atlanta Falcons, and then I would end the show by talking about my game picks for the week. But first, I just, give me a thumbs up if you listening right now. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, man. I give it a couple of little seconds just to see if anybody say anything. Make sure everybody can hear me. I know last time I had a few technical difficulties. All right, so we can hear me. Got my nephew J Man in the building. But yeah, so what I want to talk about with you guys today, I want to kind of give you guys the state of the franchise of the Atlanta Falcons going into the bye week. Where we stand. I would grade us based on every game, give you my offensive grade, my defensive grade, and an overall grade for each game that we have played thus far. And then also I would give you my overall grade for the Atlanta Falcons going into this bye week. Also, I would tell you who I think has been performing at a high level, my top five, and then also my top five players that need to improve on the Atlanta Falcons roster going into this next half after the next part of the season after the bye week. And then also I would give you my weekly game picks like we always do every week. So hey, if you're listening, please comment below. Let me know what your game picks are, who your top five players that have been doing great this year, and who your top five players that have, that need some improvement. Also, chime in, join us live, whether you're joining us on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you joining us, man. Hey, welcome to the show. Appreciate your support. But let's get started, man. So first, I want to talk about the state of the franchise. So I will kind of give you guys my opinion of how we did for this first part of the season. So overall, I think the Falcons. What I really appreciate about the Atlanta Falcons, going into this bye week, I think we did a great job of continuous progress. So the first week, as we all know, against the Philadelphia Eagles, it just wasn't a good game on the defense or the offensive side of the ball. Mainly the offense, especially Jalen Mayfield. He had probably the worst game, hopefully, of his career. But he definitely had a game that he don't want to remember. The Philadelphia Eagles didn't do anything special, but it's just it seems like we just never could put it together. Anything that could have went wrong went wrong. We were outplayed, outcoached, outfanned. Our fans did not show up. The Philadelphia Eagles fans did show up, so they got to enjoy that win, and we had to go home. Well, we didn't. We was at home, and we had to just go back home and just suffer. It was a bad week for us. So, but what I saw over time, we got better every game. When you look at Tampa Bay game, we got better. The Washington football team game, we got better. The New York Giants, we got better. And then, of course, into the Jets, we definitely got better. So that's one thing I did see. One thing I want to see more is more production from Calvin Ridley. You're supposed to be this number one receiver on this team, and you was just dropping passes. It seems like you just haven't gotten it together. But I definitely want to see more production from Calvin Ridley. Another thing I saw a bigger role for Kyle Pitts, and I look forward to seeing more of that. I think Kyle Pitts, we didn't, like I say all the time, we did not draft Kyle Pitts to be a tight end. You don't draft a tight end at number 4 overall just to come and play tight end. No, you have to have a special skill set that dictates, that gives us that reason for why we drafted you at number 4 overall. And I felt like Kyle Pitts in the beginning, we were still trying to figure out how to get him the ball. Now I feel like, especially after this last game against the New York Jets in London, we definitely figured out, okay, we could put him in different places on the field. He don't have to just play tight end. So I definitely saw an improvement in that, getting Kyle Pitts the ball. Of course, we already know Cordero Patterson. I mean, so far he has been the best addition to this team, coming from out this offseason. I mean, he's just been a Swiss Army knife. He been in the passing game, the rushing game, the special teams, any way possible that he could help this team win. He's been doing that. He's right now, in my opinion, the MVP of the team. We'll get to that a little later. But at the same time, I mean, Cordell Patterson, he has given us the bright spots that we have been able to see, going into, so far in this season. Let me see if we have any comments from anybody yet. Okay, no comments. But yeah, if you're in the building, man, shout yourself out. Let us know you're in the building, man. But I want this to be a conversation because there's not much to talk about when you're your bye week. So I want to make sure that I still get you guys some content. So I appreciate you guys for joining. Another thing, the defensive line. We have to be better in the trenches on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball, but mainly on the defensive side of the ball, we have to be better. We getting pushed back. Nope, we're not really. We're stopping. We're containing the run. No running back has really just had a day on us yet. But at the same time, we have to do better in our trenches. We're not getting to the quarterback that often, even though a lot of our sacks have come from covered sacks. But when we get our chances, we're not capitalizing on that as well. But we have to get to the quarterback and we have to stop the run. We can't keep getting beat off the line. We're getting pushed back a lot, and that's what I've been seeing. Also, give Jalen Hopkins a better. Come on, we got to get this guy on the field. We saw what he was able to do last week. He actually got a pick and everything. Like we got to figure out how we could get him on the field. He don't have to play just free safety or strong safety. We can kind of maybe put him at the slot. We got to mix it up, but we got to get Jalen Hopkins some time on the field. He's actually been earning it. According to Arthur Smith, he's been doing great in practice. He's been improving. During the game time, I saw that last game. We got to get him on the field. And then last, I just feel like overall the Falcons, they, even though our record looks, it don't look the best. I feel like we should at least be a 3-2 team right now, but that's neither here nor there. But at the same time, the Falcons haven't looked bad, but they haven't looked great. We've been a mediocre team, but I definitely see the projection of this team going up. I definitely still feel like we can make the playoffs. As you guys know, I predicted that the Atlanta Falcons will be representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. I'm still going to hold on to that because that's my team. I'm going to always hold on to that until it's either just out of reach or we just not that team. But I feel like we're improving. We're getting better. Maybe we'll peak. We'll hit that peak because in the NFL, it's about reaching that peak at the right time. It's not about being great every game. It's about peaking at the right time. And that team that peaks at the right time is the team that end up winning the Super Bowl. We got Dave. Shout out to Dave in the building. He said, "What's good, my friend? When can we stop calling Kyle Pitts a tight end? This guy's is the Calvin Johnson mode. Brother, they are simply too small in the front seven. Brother, we have to see you more often, man." Yes, I'm definitely trying to do more videos more often. Right now, I have 2 shows that I'm dealing with. Also, I'm a new father, husband, and I work and I go to school working on my MBA. So I'm really tied down with a lot. But at the same time, yes, you will see me more often, especially with the Fan of Atlanta 365. The J&B, the Talk of the Dirty South show, only happens on Saturday. So it gives me a more opportunity to get you guys more content out there. So you will see me more, Dave. I appreciate that, man. But yeah, so that's so far to me, that's the state of the franchise going into this bye week. Some things that I have seen us do great and some things I have seen us do bad that we need to improve on. And also I kind of gave you guys what I think we should see more of going into this, to finish up the season. So next I will go into, let's give the Falcons some grades. So I want to first, like I said, I want to grade each game based on the offense, defense, and the overall grade. And then I'm going to give you my overall grade based on the entire season thus far. So first, let's focus on the Atlanta Falcons versus the Philadelphia Eagles game. As we all know, that was just a bad game. We just got outcoached, outplayed, outfanned, out cheerleader. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles just came and got on us, man. We had no answer for anything that they were doing. Jalen Hurts had a career day. We just couldn't stop anybody. Devontae Smith, I think he almost went over 100 yards. I can't remember, but I definitely feel like he had a great game. He showed that, hey man, I was a bet. I was a good choice for the Philadelphia Eagles. So all in all, we already know Jalen Mayfield. That was the worst game hopefully of his career. We just looked horrible. We looked horrible that game. So if I had to give the offense a grade, I gave the offense an F. An F. Dave said, "Congratulations, bro. I did not know this." Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not a big deal. I wasn't trying to tell you, like, I wasn't trying to make an excuse. Dave said, "Support this content, guys. Come on." Yeah, definitely, man. Support the channel, man. J and B, the Talk of the Dirty South. Support that show as well, but definitely support Fan of Atlanta 365, man. Hit that subscribe button. Like, share, comment on these videos because your boy always coming back, man. But yeah, hey Dave, I appreciate that, man. But yeah, so I'm gonna give the offense an F that game. We just did not show up. Jalen Mayfield definitely, killed us that game. A lot of penalties, a lot of holding calls, not being able to block anybody. Just a horrific day for Jalen Mayfield. The offense wasn't moving the ball. I don't even think we put up I think we maybe scored a field goal, or maybe 2 field goals. But other than that, we didn't put up a touchdown. We really wasn't moving the ball, barely was getting first downs. When we did make plays, it was a holding call or, illegal man downfield or, pass interference, whatever it was, it just wasn't our day. Next, for the defense side of the ball, I will give them a D. The reason why is because when you really look at that game, the defense was making stops in the beginning of the game. They just didn't play a full 4-quarter, 60-minute game. And the Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, you can't really expect the defense to do that, especially when the offense is going out there, going 3 and out or turning over the ball or, just killing themselves. And then you're putting the defense in a hole because you're giving them short field. The defense was tired. But all in all, when you look at the first half of that game, the defense did the best they could to hold the Eagles down. It wasn't until the second half of that game where they just couldn't take it no more. It was a bend but not break in the first half, and then it was just a break, but hopefully we can bend in the second half. So that's why I give the defense a D for that game. But when I give it the overall grade, I got to go to F. It was just a horrific day by everybody except for Cordell Patterson. He was trying his best to do whatever he could, but, I mean, he can't carry the team. Matty Ice didn't really have a bad game, even though his stats wouldn't show that. But when you really look at that game, a lot of those penalties killed us. Matt Ryan was making big plays, but then we'll get set back. It was like we was taking a step forward, and then we'll take 5 back. So at the end of the day, Matt Ryan didn't have a bad game, but Jalen Mayfield, he was horrific. And we couldn't get the ball to Kyle Pitts. I think he maybe had 2 catches in that game. One of the catches was a 3rd down or 4th down play that he actually completed. But all in all, we had a bad game that game. He said your observation has been on point. The problem with the defense is that they are too small and wear down in the second half of games. Yes, we definitely are too small. I definitely agree, Dave. We got to get better in those trenches. And I think, with Dean Pease coming in, we're going to get bigger players. It's just that right now we're trying to, get rid of all these Dan Quinn type guys, this hybrid defense, but I definitely think when you look over time, the defense has been improving. We still getting pushed off the line, but at the same time, we are containing. We are stopping the run. We stopping the pass. Well, we actually getting to the quarterback. Our problem is we can't complete the play. So I am seeing improvement. We just have to continue to get improved. We have to continue to improve, but also we definitely have to get bigger at that at the defensive side of the ball. So that's the Philadelphia Eagles game. Let's move on to the Tampa Bay games, week 2, a division game, Tom Brady, all that good stuff. We're in Tampa Bay. For me, the offense, C+, we did pretty good. We started off a little rocky, couldn't get things going, but then we started to get everything going. We actually, we was down, I want to say like 21-3 or something, or 21-7, and we was able to come back. And I think we got all the way up to like 3 points behind 3 points. And then pretty much what happened was um, Matt Ryan, I definitely blame one pick on him, which is the pick where he actually threw it to, I think it was Russell Gage, or maybe it was a Lamade Zaccheaus. It was one of those guys. And he, instead of throwing it to the outside shoulder, he threw it to the inside. The guy, I think the receiver kind of tipped it up, and the guy picked it off and took it to the end zone. And then the other 2 picks was mainly just the offensive lineman letting the defensive lineman get his hands on it, and they'll pop up in the air, they get the pick. So really, I only think that Matt Ryan really only had 1 pick this season, but all in all, his stats are going to show that he has at least 3 picks. But to me, that wasn't Matt Ryan's fault. You can't really, and once they got those picks, I mean, they was getting touchdowns with those picks, or they was getting short field, and the defense couldn't hold. So at the end of the day, that's why I give the offense a C+. I also give the defense a C+. Like I said in the beginning, we couldn't stop the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, they was getting in the end zone whenever they wanted to, but then the defense started to lock down and help the offense get back into that game. And then next thing you know, like I said, the defense getting short field. They're tired. They keep coming on the field, 3 and outs and all that good stuff. So I got to give the defense a C+. Dave also said, Brother Jay, I'll be honest with you, man. I don't like the 3-4 defense. The Steelers are the only team to run it with decades of success. I definitely agree that 3-4 defense is a tough defense to run because you need those big guys. But at the same time, in the NFL, you need guys that are also athletic. If you're going to bring in big guys, they still have to be able to be athletic. But I definitely think the 3-4 actually works for us. It's just that we don't have the right players in key positions. Dante Fowler, he's just not meant for this 3-4 defense. Even though he's been doing pretty good, he's been improving. But at the same time, when it's time to get to the quarterback, you have to be able to complete the play. Also, we don't have nobody to help Grady Jarrett. Nobody's helping Grady Jarrett. Grady Jarrett can't do it by himself. Tyler Davidson, he's not doing anything, but we'll get to him a little later. Marlon Davidson stays hurt. He has to find a way to stay healthy. I haven't really seen John Kaminsky on the field. Stephen Means, I mean, he doing the best he can, but I mean, he haven't really been able to do much. And all in all, the defensive line is the reason why we're not doing anything great on this defense so far. But other than that, man, I definitely agree with you about that 3-4 defense. I prefer, the 4-3, but I do understand the 3-4 because we actually do have players that can fit that scheme. I just think that we have to get bigger players, and we have to stop wearing ourselves out. We have to get some depth as well because we don't really have depth. And so when you don't have depth, it forces your defense to keep having to put the same guys out there in the entire game. Imagine how Grady Jarrett feels after every game because he's out there pretty much every play. So, yes, I definitely agree with you, though. Shout out to Glenn Jones, man, my guy. He just subscribed, new subscriber to the channel. Hey, I appreciate the support, appreciate the love, man. But, yeah, so let's get back to it. So, overall, for that Tampa Bay game, I'm going to get a team a C+ because I did see us improve from the week 1. I saw us play better against a team that just won a Super Bowl last year. So that also taking the account into this it's also added to why I gave them a C+. And then, like I said, the offense, they fought back. The defense, they made key stops. It just at the end we gave it up. So all in all, we probably could have won that game if we would have actually played the full entire game. But at the same time, we didn't. So that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. Dave said the Falcons have a 4-3 personnel. I totally agree with you. Yeah, right now I definitely think, yes, we do have a 4-3, but you also got to remember, these are Dan Quinn guys. Once Dean Pease, get more years under his belt where he can bring in his type of guys, then I think we'll see more improvement. Who do we draft for the defense this year? I'm trying to go through that draft. I do like Oju Deji. I do like him. I think it's Traquan Graham. You're starting to see a few bigger guys come in here. So I do like Odun Deji. I do like him because he's going to be a beast once he figure this thing out. So yeah, we just got to give Dean Pease some time. He said, I think your grading is fair also. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Hey, if y'all want to give y'all grades, definitely put it in the chat. I want to see what you guys think. I don't want you guys to just go off my grades. I want to see what y'all grades are as well. So definitely put it in the chat. Glenn Jones said y'all gonna start looking to change out that QB position anytime soon. Mr. Jones, let me tell you, Matt Ryan has been doing great this year. He just haven't had help. Receivers dropping balls. Offensive line started off where they couldn't block a kid's block a Lego. If you put a Lego in their face, they couldn't make a block out of it. Also, Matt Ryan for the past few weeks, when you look at the Giants game, the Washington football team game, and then now you look at the New York Jets game, Matt Ryan has been doing this thing. He needs help. Calvin really missing passes. He don't really have a number one receiver. The run game has pretty much, Cordero Patterson, he's doing whatever he could do, but the run game hasn't been effective. And when you don't have nobody, when the defense is not making key stops, I mean, Matt Ryan can't do it all. So eventually we're going to have to look for a new franchise quarterback. But right now, Matt Ryan is doing the best he can, and he's doing a great job of doing it. He said, I thought he said something else. But yeah, so let's move on to the next game. The Atlanta Falcons at the New York Giants. Once again, the Atlanta Falcons, the city of Atlanta owns New York. We beat the Knicks. Trae Young did his thing. Now we beat the Giants this season, and then we end up beating the Jets as well. So we own New York right now. We done bit the apple. We done ate it all the way to the core. So I definitely feel like we're going to keep this thing going into this next basketball season. But right now, we own the New York Net. We own the New York city of New York. We already took music away from them, and now we taking the sports right now. No, I can't say we taking the sports away from them because they actually the Giants have rings. I think the Jets have one ring with Joe Namath. But at the same time, as of right now, we have the advantage over New York when it comes to their sports team, and definitely with the music. We've been running the music thing for a long time. But I digress on that. Dave said, I would not be happy if the Falcons draft their quarterback in next year's draft. This post-draft was the time to do it. Yeah, well, I mean, we did go get a quarterback, Felipe Franks. I'm not saying that Felipe Franks it's maybe a franchise quarterback. They have yet to be shown yet, but I definitely think if Felipe Franks is the guy, I definitely think Felipe Franks can be the guy. I just think that Matt Ryan needs to continue to groom him. But also, it's going to be some quarterbacks that we may have to start looking at. I don't think this draft is going to have the elite quarterbacks, but I definitely think probably the year after next, you definitely, if Felipe Franks isn't showing you that, hey, I'm the next guy in line, then I definitely think you need to wait until 2023 draft to, definitely bring in that next quarterback. But, at the end of the day, man, we got to let this thing play out. Matt Ryan is always learning new systems. He haven't had a consistent offensive coach in a while. He pretty much getting a new head coach every time. His first few years in the league before Arthur Smith came here, he always had defensive-minded head coaches and no consistency at the offensive coordinator position. So at the end of the day, Matt Ryan, I mean, come on, man, we got to give this man some props. He's been able to do it for years, and so now he finally has an offensive-minded coach, and he's learning a new system, and he's doing damn good in it. Glenn Jones said Giants ain't got nobody left. Most of their team is injured, so this should be a dub. And Matt Ryan getting up there in age, y'all need to start grooming somebody. Well, I just said we grooming somebody right now. We got Felipe Franks, 6'7", 230-something, 40-some pounds, got speed on him. I think he has an arm. He got the height, definitely. So I definitely think he could be the next franchise quarterback for this franchise if we develop him right. So I have to disagree with that. And you also said that, well, we're not playing the Giants this season. I mean, this upcoming week, we already played the Giants. We beat the Giants. This is week 3 that I'm talking about. But you're a Washington football fan, and I know you're a little bit, you don't really want to see the Falcons, succeed. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you have that, Glenn Jones. But hey, I'm trying to do this video, man. Back to the Giants. So I'm gonna give the offense a B minus. The reason why is because Matt Ryan did his thing, Cordell Patterson did his thing. We was clicking on all cylinders. It's just that we really didn't put up as many points as we should have. But at the end of the day, you win the game. So I'm gonna get the offense a B minus. The defense, I'm gonna give them a B plus. The defense was holding it down. I mean, they stopped Saquon Barkley from getting. I think he only had like 40-some, 50-some yards rushing, and that was mainly based off him just making one big explosive play, but it really wasn't explosive. But all in all, they held him in check. Daniel Jones wasn't really running on us like that. And he was finding his receivers, but at the same time, we locked down that whole game. That whole game, the defense did a pretty good job. I just felt like we should have made a few other. I want to see more key stops that we wasn't getting. But all in all, I said the defense did have a good game. Glenn Jones said, "You crazy? I want y'all head coach. I want y'all HQ. Your QB." See, you want Matt Ryan. You do want, because Matt Ryan is so great, man. I know a lot of teams will be able to win Super Bowls with Matt Ryan. If you put Matt Ryan with the Denver Broncos, you put Matt Ryan with the Washington Football Team, you put Matt Ryan with maybe it's a lot of teams that could use Matt Ryan's services and definitely win a Super Bowl or compete for a Super Bowl every year with Matt Ryan. But our fans, it's the Atlanta Falcon fans that hates Matt Ryan. Half of them hate Matt Ryan. Half of us, like myself, love Matt Ryan and know that Matt Ryan has been the best quarterback in our franchise history, and he's still, making that case to be a Hall of Famer, which I already feel like he's a Hall of Famer. In my opinion, he's a Hall of Famer. Now, is he first ballot? No, but I definitely think he's a sure Hall of Famer, in my opinion. And the stats back that up. Dave said the offense looks good because they are spreading the ball around like the Falcons did in 2016. Enough with dominant targets for one player. Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree. I always said I've been campaigning for the Atlanta Falcons to trade Julio Jones. Before he got traded this year, I had been campaigning for like 2 years before that because I felt like Matt Ryan, he thrives off of spreading the ball around. When you look at these teams, even during the time of Julio Jones, Matt Ryan has always been able to get other receivers involved. Look at what he did for Austin Hooper. Look at what he did for Harry Douglas. Look at what he did for Taylor Gabriel, Mohamed Sanu. All those guys was nobodies on these other teams until they came and played with Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan got them big contracts, but Matt Ryan has been able to spread the ball around everywhere. I don't think Matt Ryan, yes, Julio Jones was a great player for this team when healthy, and that's the biggest thing with Julio Jones. He can never stay healthy, but at the same time, Matt Ryan prefers to just throw the ball to the open player. And I think Julio Jones, the thing that we miss from Julio Jones is that Julio Jones is willing to do whatever. If he had to go across the middle, he would go across the middle. That's the value that Julio Jones did have. But as far as just like somebody just spreading the ball around, Matt Ryan can do that, and he has been able to do that for years. Pretty much his whole career, he's been doing that. But those fake Falcon fans that hate the Matt Ryan haters, they're not gonna talk about that. They only like Matt Ryan when we went to the Super Bowl, but then after that Super Bowl, they hate Matt Ryan. Before that Super Bowl, they hated Matt Ryan. They're gonna always hate Matt Ryan just because he's not the prototypical type quarterback that they want. They like to play with on Madden. Because he cannot run, because he's not a running quarterback, a lot of the fans don't like him. And I think that because they had so much love for Michael Vick, even though Michael Vick really didn't do much for the franchise other than give us great moments, he didn't win games. But it's funny how Matt Ryan actually won games, took us to a Super Bowl, had us consistently in the playoffs, and and he's still doing that, and they don't like him. But I digress on that. Glenn Jones said, but y'all had the true number one to take pressure off the other players. Don't think y'all got that now. Yeah, we definitely don't have a number one receiver. And yes, Julio did take the pressure off other players, but at the same time, he couldn't stay healthy. When you look at the last 2 seasons, he played 9 games in one season, and I think last season he missed half of the season. and you can see what he's doing with the Tennessee Titans. I mean, he had one good game. He still haven't gotten to the end zone, and he really wasn't in the end zone. He didn't get into the end zone, especially. I think he had a couple of years where he went over like 10 touchdowns, but in reality, he really didn't get into the end zone, and he couldn't stay healthy. So at the end of the day, yes, we did lose a big key player for our team, but at the same time, I think Kyle Pitts is going to be that guy. Kyle Pitts should, like Dave said, Kyle Pitts is that number one receiver. He's really like the next Calvin Johnson. I just think that they're trying to, get him. Eventually, they're gonna put him there. You don't draft a tight end at number 4 overall, especially a type of player like Kyle Pitts. Dave said number one receiver is such an overrated concept. You win the NFL. You win in the NFL by spreading the ball around, forcing teams to defend the entire field. I totally agree with that. It's only certain teams, but when you look at some of those teams that do have a number one receiver, i.e. the Arizona Cardinals with D Hop, they also got other guys. Kirk. They got you got AJ Green. You got a lot of those other guys that's helping DeAndre Hopkins out. Now, yes, DeAndre Hopkins takes that pressure off of them a lot of times, but at the same time, they're spreading the ball around. When you look at the Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, you got Devontae Adams, but look at the other guys that you have, and you got that running back coming out the backfield, and then you got Aaron Rodgers, who you have to also worry about. So it's teams that do have a number one receiver, but they don't rely so heavily on that number one receiver because they actually have other weapons around them that's helping them get the ball, that's helping them spread the ball around. Just like Dave said, we got to spread the ball around. That's what Matt Ryan thrives by, spreading the ball around. When he always have to look through his progressions, that's not what Matt Ryan likes to do. He likes to say, okay, this guy got the advantage at this position, at this role, on this play. So that's what I'm gonna go to. If it's not there, then I'll examine the field. But Matt Ryan, he's a rhythm thrower. Whoever gets open, he likes crisp route running, and you got to be able to catch the ball because Matt Ryan gonna put it there. But so far, Calvin really haven't shown to be that guy. But we'll get to Calvin really a little later. But Kyle Pitts is definitely gonna be that guy. And then you got Cordell Patterson, who can definitely be a number one receiver as well. So in my opinion, I feel like we're going to get there. And then also we have to remember, Arthur Smith's system is not a pass-heavy type offense. It's more of a run game type offense and play action, but mainly it's the run game. It's using 22 personnel with 3 tight ends, a running back in the backfield, maybe a wide receiver on the outside. So, of course, we're not a vertical offense. We're not gonna lead the league in passing. We're supposed to lead the league in rushing, but not passing. But Matt Ryan is forced to have to, pass the ball a lot because we haven't had a consistent run game. So, thanks for those comments, you guys. But let's get back to these grades. So we left off at the Giants. So I gave the offense a B-. I gave the defense a B+, and I'm gonna give the overall a B. I felt like because we won that game, and also the offense did show up, the defense, somewhat showed up. We played an okay game. I felt like we did a good job. Let's move on to the Atlanta Falcons versus the Washington football team. This is a game I felt like we should have won, but we didn't. The Washington football team made more plays than we did, and they won the game. But if I had to grade the offense, I definitely would give the offense an A. Matt Ryan was throwing that thing. I think he had 4 touchdowns. Most of them was to Cordero Patterson, but at the same time, Matt Ryan was throwing that thing, no interceptions. I think he went over for like 300 and some yards, almost 400 and some yards passing. The defense, did not show up that game, and I felt like that's why we lost that game because the defense did not make any key stops, and the football team just took advantage of those. So I give the defense an F for that game. But the overall grade, I would give us a B because we did show up. It's just the defense didn't show up, and we couldn't pull that game out. But it was still a close game, and the Washington football team got out of there with one. Dave also said, do you think this organization will ever morph into a defense-first philosophy? I sure hope so, man. So when you look at the Atlanta Falcons history, we did have the Grits Blitz. You did have the team in the teams in the 90s, where we was defensively dominant. But when you look at when you look at like the early 2000s all the way into now, we have been more of an offensive minded type team where our offense have been better than our defense. The last time we actually had a pretty good defense was probably like in '07 when we had John Abraham and Patrick Kearney and all those guys, Jonathan Babineau. That's when we really had a pretty good defense. But ever since then, our defense has been, like we'll have our years where we'll have a pretty decent defense, but we haven't had a dominant defense in a while where year after year, our defense is going to be there. So I definitely think we can. I definitely think if we bring in another, because we're going to have to bring in another defense coordinator. Dean Pease is an old man. He's been coaching for 30 some years. He came out of retirement to coach with Arthur Smith. I don't see Dean Pease staying here for the next, 10 years. So at the end of the day, if we can bring in a defensive-minded coach that can really get this defense more aggressive, like Dean Pease potentially could, you eventually set that new tone. I definitely think we could be a dominant defense. But do I think we could ever be a defensive-minded team? We may become a defensive-minded team because Matt Ryan is getting up there in age. So now when you move on to this next regime, whoever that may be, they may not be able to do what Matt Ryan has been able to do with the Atlanta Falcons franchise. So maybe we may take that next step forward on the defensive side of the ball and become a dominant defense and be based on, and our team be based on defense production. Glenn Jones said, y'all O-line played to their potential against the Washington football team, but I'll give it to you. The refs lost that game for you all. Yeah, I don't like to blame games on refs. Now there are some times where you be like, man, come on, man. But the refs also gave us some plays that the Washington football team should have had, i.e. that roughing the passer play. I mean, Chase Young, he barely touched Matt Ryan, but I think because his hands was mostly towards his upper body near his face, I think they tend to babysit the quarterbacks. They try to protect the quarterbacks, and I think that's mainly what it was. But I definitely don't think that should have been a roughing the passer play. But like I said, I don't like to blame things on the ref. At the end of the day, the refs can only call certain plays. They can only have so much impact. It's up to the players to go out there and perform, and our defense just didn't show up. So that's really why I feel like we lost that game to the Washington football team. Dave said this is going to sound weird, but I wish the Falcons play outdoors. The Falcons have to rid themselves of the soft label. Get rid of themselves from the soft label. Jay, they need to build their team to win in Chicago in January. I definitely agree with that. I definitely feel like we have built this culture, and I think it's mainly due to Dan Quinn's regime and on the back end of Mike Smith regime. I definitely feel like we have become this team that nobody really respects. Like unless we having a good season, nobody really cares about the Atlanta Falcons. I think because we're not that exciting team, we're not gonna blow, get the ratings. I think the only time we really have like this dog mentality is when we play in the New Orleans Aints. And a lot of times the New Orleans Aints have a more dog mentality than we do. When they come to our stadium, it's like they're at home because they fill out our stadium. They're louder than us. They're more aggressive than us. But when we go to New Orleans, we don't take over that stadium. So at the end of the day, I definitely feel like we should have an outdoor stadium because I feel like in Atlanta we're spoiled. We get all the luxury type stuff. We don't really have like a hardcore type fan base. We don't really have this grit type. We don't have grit. We just go out there hoping not to lose, and we play with that mentality. And a lot of times you go out there and lose when you're looking not to lose. And I think we need to go out. We play down to our competition a lot, and I think that's mainly due to the post of the city of how we have been disrespected as a sports city. Even when you look at the Atlanta Hawks, nobody really respected the Atlanta Hawks until after last year. Last year, now people are going to be anticipating that the Hawks are going to be good this year, and people are actually going to be watching. When you look at the Braves, they have always underperformed. They should have had way more World Series in the 90s, but we got one. And ever since then, we've been trying to figure this thing out. Hopefully this year we could bring it home. But we playing the LA Dodgers, and they had our number last year, came back from a 3-1 lead. And then also this year, so far, I don't think we've really been able to beat them this year. So, the Atlanta Braves, they try to do their best, but at the same time, the fans are just we're not hardcore. And then when you look at the Georgia Bulldogs, even though they're not a professional team, they're not in Atlanta, we value the Georgia Bulldogs in the city. The Georgia Bulldogs will get you up. They hype. They have a good fan base. But the thing about it, the Georgia Bulldogs, we have to win more games. We underperform when it's our moment to take over. We don't show up. But I definitely think the Georgia Bulldogs should be able to win the championship this year if they can continue to play how they've been playing. I definitely think we can win the championship. And then, like I said, the Atlanta Falcons, our fans just don't show up. They don't care. And unless it's a winning product on the field, we have failed with the fans. So I'm a hardcore fan. I bleed red, black, and white. Every day you're gonna probably see me with some Falcon gear on. And I love the Falcons, but at the same time, I wish I could make it to more games. But it's hard to pay for them tickets when the fans ain't gonna show up. The team may show up, and it's just difficult. But at the same time, I will make it I prefer to watch the game from home, to tell you the truth, because I like to watch from behind, rewind, and fast. I like to skip over the commercials and all that good stuff. But at the same time, I just love the Atlanta Falcons. But yeah, I definitely agree. We do need an outside stadium, because when we go play outside, for some reason, if it's too cold for us, we just don't perform. And I think the fans are spoiled because we always just get luxury. And so we have our minds when we go to the game. We're not really there for the game. A lot of times we there to look at the stadium, to walk around, go to the concession stands, be outside of the stadium just to tailgate and watch the game from outside. Nobody really wants to come inside and be hardcore, be loud. So I definitely think we should get an outdoor stadium. Dave also said, this is one of the reasons why I love and miss your content, man. There is no cheerleading element to your content, and I respect that. Hey, I appreciate that, Dave, man. I'm definitely gonna be pumping these videos out, man. I'm gonna do my best to make sure I get you guys that content, because I love doing videos, man. It's just that I gotta find the time, and I have to be more consistent. And I definitely think this channel can grow, man. But I definitely appreciate your comment. Hey, if you ever want to come on the show, if anybody ever want to come on the show, hey, let me know. We can have a conversation. You could talk whatever you got going on. Maybe you're starting your own business, or maybe you have your own business. Whatever you got going on, you can come on the show, talk about that. We could talk some football. So hey, let me know if you want to join the show, man. But yeah, so let's get back to these grades. Let's see if we have any comments on Facebook. Okay, no, we don't have any. So yeah, so let's get back to these grades. So I left off with the Washington football team. I said the offense got an A for me, defense an F, and overall I felt like we played a pretty good game. We should have won that game, but we did play a good game, so I gave us a B overall. Let's move on to the New York Jets. It was a game in London, so it really wasn't a home game for us, but I felt like we had more. We got to see more fans there than we get to see at our own home. I think the London city fans, they was more happy to see us than our own fans. So the Atlanta Falcons did show up. I feel like this was the most complete game that the Atlanta Falcons played. They dominated that whole game, even though the score won't show that. But in my opinion, they dominated that whole game. They really had the momentum the entire game. Gave up no sacks. We actually got a pick that game. Jalen Hawkins, I think it was our first pick. Kyle Pitts get his first touchdown of the season. It was a lot of great things. Matt Ryan just throwing that thing. I think he ended up with 3 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns, one of them. The defense showed up. Everybody showed up that game. So all in all, I had to give the offense an A+. They did an awesome job, man. They protected Matt Ryan. They gave up no sacks. No sacks. Matt Ryan never touched the ground. So I definitely got to give a props to the offensive line for that game. Kyle Pitts had showed why we drafted him. He went over 100 yards, got his first touchdown. Cordero Patterson still doing his thing. He did a great job. Mike Davis did pretty good, even though he fumbled. Hayden Hurst did pretty good, even though he almost gave up a fumble in a key moment. Who else? Who was without Calvin Ridley, and we still was able to move the ball and make plays. The defense showed up. Everybody just showed up that game. I think we even got like 2 or 3 sacks that game. So all in all, I got to give the offense an A+, and I got to give the defense a B+. The reason why is because the defense had moments where they just didn't show up. We really should have beat the New York Jets better than we beat. Worse, I guess we should have beat them better than we beat them in that game. I think the game ended up being like 27-20 or something like that. We should have beat them way worse than that. So overall, I got to give the Atlanta Falcons an A. I think that was the most complete game we played on the defense side of the ball and offense side of the ball, and even special teams. Even though they did almost give up a bit special teams, I think it was a punt return or a kick return. Dave said having a new bride and a newborn needs no explanation, man. Yeah, well, I've been married for 3 years, so we're not new in the game. Even though we consider still newlyweds, but it's not that. And my kid, he's about to be 1, but it's just with school. That's the biggest thing because I'm always having to do a lot of papers and all that good stuff, and I'm working full time, and I'm trying to be an active father, active husband, and also create this content. So, but it's no excuse, it's just my life is just everywhere right now. But I'm still trying to work on finding that balance, and also preparing for a big move. I'm leaving the city, guys. I won't be living in Atlanta anymore, starting in most likely in May of next year. Me and my family will be moving to Maryland. So I hate it because at the end of the day, I'm leaving my city. But at the same time, I'm still going to be an Atlanta Falcons fan. I'm still going to be about the Atlanta Falcons. I'm still going to give you guys this content, even though I won't be physically in the city where I was born and raised and lived 32 years of my life. But at the end of the day, that's neither here or there. Dave also said, are you at least a bit concerned about Patterson's overall overusage? Yeah and no. Right now, we got to feed the hot hand, man. At the end of the day, yes, I understand we may be overusing him because it's a 17-game season. But at the end of the day, you can't make it to the playoffs if you're not winning. So ain't no point of us trying to save him for the end of the season, hoping that we'll make a playoff run. When at the end of the day, you gotta feed the beast. Whoever's the hot hand, that's who you need to feed. That's what a lot of teams do. They feed the hot hand, and that's what we tend to get away from. When we got somebody that's showing out, we feel like, well, we overusing him. No, feed the hot hand. But like I said, there are some concerns that it's a 17-game season, and you don't want to overuse him and not have him for the playoffs if we do make it. But right now, we got to feed the hot hand. He's the only thing that's bringing a spark to this team, and I think right now that's what we need. We haven't really had one of them players in a while. So I definitely agree, but I would also disagree. Dave also said, "My bad, brother." Oh no, I don't know what you said that for. You don't have to. It ain't your bad, man. But yeah. So all in all, like I said, if I had to give an overall based on just these first 5 or 6 games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games going into the bye week, 2 and 3. I got to give us a C+. The reason why is because we really should be 3 and 2, but at the same time, a lot of those games came against those wins came against teams that we should have beat anyway. So at the end of the day, and then that first game, we should have beat the Philadelphia Eagles, but we just didn't show up. Tampa Bay, okay, I expected that, but the Giants, we should have beat them better than we beat them. And then the Washington football team, like I said, they got away with one, and the New York Jets should have been beat better, way worse than we beat them. So I had to give us a C+. We only played one game where it was a complete game by the defense and the offensive side of the ball. In the beginning of the season, it was the defense holding us down, but the offense wasn't doing anything. And then when you go into like the week 3, it was the offense that was holding us down, but the defense really wasn't playing a complete game. So I got to give us a C-. A C+. So those are my overall grades. Dave said, "Can you please let us know when you're going live? I want to be here for it, man." Yeah, I'll definitely start to plan out my live shows. Normally what I do, I use StreamYard. So StreamYard allows me to schedule for later. So when I know I'm gonna do a video, I'll start streaming for later. The reason why this video came out of nowhere today, I actually had to work at my job, and I just got home maybe like an hour ago, and then my wife and my kid, they was coming from Stockbridge, which it took them like an hour or two to get home, and I wanted to make sure they got home safely, and I had to help my wife before I could start this video. So, but in the future, I will try to make sure I let you guys know ahead of time that the videos will be coming. If you follow me on YouTube, definitely hit that subscribe button, but also hit that bell so that you'll get those notifications when I am live. It'll give you a notification. Also, if you follow me on Facebook, like I said, StreamYard, I'm gonna start scheduling it ahead of time so that it can get you guys, alert you guys ahead of time, and it'll also alert you on Facebook as well. I'm sorry, on YouTube as well, to let you know what the video gonna be about. Also, let you know, hey, we're going live. So I appreciate that, Dave, and I definitely will do that for you, man. He said, okay, that was his last comment. So yeah, so we're gonna move on to the next part that I want to get to, and let's talk. I want to give you guys my top 5 players that have been doing a great job this year, and then also I'm gonna give you my top 5 players that needs to improve. So we're gonna start off with the improvement list first. We're gonna start off with the improvement list first. So I have some pictures I'm gonna put up on the screen. My first player that needs to show improvement coming out this bye week is this guy, Calvin Ridley. So far, Calvin Ridley haven't been able to show much, progress as far as being a number 1 receiver. Every game it looks like he's afraid of contact. I see him running horizontally when he should be running vertically because he needs to get the first down. It's like he's scared to take a hit. Also, the drop passes. He has to get better. When you're considered the number 1 receiver, you have to be willing to do whatever, and you have to make some tough catches, because at the end of the day, it's the NFL. You're gonna get hit. So Calvin Ridley is my number 1 guy that needs to improve going into this coming off this bye week. Also, we don't know what's the story on Calvin Ridley. I know he had personal issues. That's why he couldn't make it to London. But so far, we haven't heard anything about that. So I'm hoping that he can come back after this bye week. I feel like this bye week was at the perfect time. Hopefully, we can get some of those players that's been injured, Russell Gage, people like that. Hopefully, we can get them back. Dave said, "I'm not a predictor of records, but what are your expectations for the remainder of the season?" Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get to that, Dave. So bear with me. But right now, let's focus on this top 5 list, and then I'll get to where I think the Falcons. How do I think the Falcons will pan out for the rest of the season? So Calvin Ridley, he has to improve. Next, I don't have a picture for this next one, but at the same time, I want to see improvement from the defensive line. We have to get better. We have to get better. A lot of times we're not getting to the quarterback. When we do have our opportunities to get to the quarterback, we're missing sacks. We're missing tackles. We're getting pushed off the line. Grady Jarrett cannot do it by himself. Dante Fowler Jr., he's playing better this year. It's just that when he gets his opportunities, he's not capitalizing for the most part. He has gotten some sacks, but he definitely should have more sacks than he has right now. And he definitely should have more tackles. Grady Jarrett, like I said, he can't do it by himself. And he needs help. So the defensive line definitely has to get better. Let's move on to the next guy. And that next guy is no, not him. Marlon Davidson. First of all, you stay hurt a lot. We need you to stay healthy. And then you came in talking about how you like to abuse a guy. You just gonna be dominant and all that good stuff. And I have yet to see it yet. I've seen sometimes when you show some kind of capabilities or potential, but you haven't consistently given me what I thought you was gonna give me, and you're hurt every week. So I definitely want to see Marlon Davidson improve coming after this bye week. Moving on to the next guy. The next guy has got to be where you at? This guy, Frank Darby. I know you haven't gotten on the field, but that's because of your own faults. That's because of your own reasons. You haven't been doing much in practice. If you're showing improvement and you're showing that you deserve to be on that field, Arthur Smith is going to put you on the field. But so far, you came in talking about you're gonna set the tone. You came in talking a lot, but I have yet to see it. I need to see it coming in after this bye week, especially with us being very thin at the wide receiver core. I need to see you start, taking some steps forward. Showing us that, hey, I know we drafted you like in the 6th or 7th round, but at the same time, you were drafted, you made the team. It's time to show. You can't talk a lot of smack if you're not going to back it up. So I need to see more improvement from Frank Darby. And I definitely think he has the potential. I just need to see it consistently, and I need to see it on the field. And then which leads me to the last guy who made the top player on this team that needs to improve, that needs to get better. I don't even think he deserves to be on this team, but let's get to it. Tyler Davidson, you haven't did anything. You're supposed to be this run stopper. I haven't seen you stop the run yet. You're getting pushed back. I mean, when are we gonna get that run stopper that you was doing at the New Orleans Saints? Are you still are you working for the New Orleans Saints? Are you just disguising yourself as an Atlanta Falcon player, but you really working for the New Orleans Saints? I need you to show improvement, man. Like, we need you to stop the run. Can you do that for us coming off this bye week? Dave said the common denominator with Davidson and Darby are their mouths. Yeah. When you look at these players that have been drafted, like i.e. Jalen Mayfield. Jalen Mayfield was made comments. Hey, if you don't want your quarterback sacked, you better draft me. And in the first week, you give up I don't know how many sacks. So at the end of the day, these rookies, you can't be talking. Unless you're gonna back it up, you can't come into the league talking, because it's a whole different level in the NFL. I don't care where you came from. At the end of the day, the NFL is the cream of the cream of the cream of the crop. And if you're not that guy, they're gonna definitely show you. And if you think you that guy, you're gonna have to prove it. And I think Davidson, he came in talking a lot, and Frank Darby came in talking a lot, and so far they haven't been able to back what they were saying. Tat McKinley was another guy that came in talking a lot, get to the quarterback and all that, and you did nothing. You did nothing. So at the end of the day, man, I need to hear less talk and more production on the field. But Tyler Davidson definitely is the guy who leads the team as needing improvement. Dave said Tyler is a try-hard player, but he is miscast in this 3-4 defense. Tyler Davidson, I would think that the 3-4 defense should be catered to him. Even when we was in the 4-3 defense with Dan Quinn, he still wasn't doing anything. He couldn't stop the run. Excuse me. He couldn't stop the run. He's definitely not a pass rusher. So I need to see more out of Tyler Davidson. If you're not meant for this 3-4 team, hey, we'll definitely release you, and you can go into another team and figure out what you need to do. But so far, he hasn't been able to improve, and I haven't seen improvements even in the years when Dan Quinn was here. I haven't seen him really be a run stopper like he's claimed to be. So let's move on to the next list. The next list is the players that I feel like have been doing great this season, and I want to see more, of course, but at the same time, they have been doing great this season. So the first player or players that didn't make this, that I don't have a picture for, that's the offensive line. The offensive line has been showing improvement every game. They have been improving. Matt Ryan last game never took a sack. The game before that with the Washington football team, who has a great defensive line on paper, I think they got to the quarterback one time. I think it was Josh Allen or it was either Montez Sweat or Josh Allen that got the Matt Ryan one time, but that came towards the end of the game. So at the end of the day, the offensive line has been getting better every week. That first week was our worst week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think we barely gave up sacks. And it wasn't until the end where they really started to dominate us. But then after that, we just been going up. And I definitely feel like this offensive line has definitely been improving every week. And that's what I like to see as a Falcon fan. I want to see us win, like I stated last week. I want to see us win. But what I mainly want to see us do is improve. If you're showing that you're making progress every week, eventually we're going to reach our full potential. Right now, I know we're learning a new system, but at the same time, we should be a playoff team. We can't go another year where we're a mediocre team, drafting high in the draft. We can't do that anymore. We gotta make some moves. We gotta win some games. We can't keep playing down to our competition and allowing teams like the Washington football team to beat us when we should have beat the Washington football team. So offensive line, you guys are doing great. Like I said, that first game, I'll give it to you guys. Maybe it was an extra preseason game for you guys. I don't know. But so far, for the past few weeks, going into this bye week, I have been seeing us project up. And I hope that after this bye week, we can get better and better every week. Next, the guy who's been doing a great job on this team is the big guy, Grady Jarrett. Grady Jarrett has been doing a great job. He's been holding this defensive line down. He got sacks. He's stopping the run. Of course he's always had a high motor. He's chasing down plays. He's doing whatever he needs to do. He's doing his part, but he needs help defensive line. But Grady Jarrett has been doing an awesome job this year, and I look forward to seeing what he can do coming off this bye week. Hopefully he can get more help. Hopefully we can get some more players, healthy that can help out on the back end. But so far, Grady Jarrett is doing a great job in those trenches as best as he can. Next on my list, I have this guy, the guy who we drafted, number 8, Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, he had his first coming out game last week against the New York Jets, going over 100 yards receiving, got his first touchdown. Every game he has made some key catches. He really has some good hands. When you look at these catches that he's been making over the past few weeks, it's been contested catches. Also, it's been catches where, a guy looked like he could have intercepted or batted it down, and Kyle Pitts kept the focus and still caught the ball. And he's been making some key catches, 3rd down and 1, 4th down and 1. He's been making some key catches. Even against the New York Giants, he made one of the key catches for us to help us win that game, that post route to the outside. He's been doing awesome so far. I look forward to seeing him getting better. And also, I want to see a bigger role out of Kyle Pitts. I want to actually see him become a receiver because, like I said, we did not draft Kyle Pitts at number 4 overall to be a tight end. We drafted him to be, in my opinion, the next Calvin Johnson, hopefully the next number 1 receiver, because it seems like Calvin really is just not that guy. He's more of a supporter. He's a support cast. He's not the guy. So I definitely like what I'm seeing out of Kyle Pitts. Every week he's getting better. He's getting better. Next on my list is the Matty Ice, man. He's been consistent like he always do. He always is. He's been playing great, even though the offensive line, started off that first week. He's been doing this thing. Receivers are dropping balls. The defense is not helping him out. We barely can get run lanes. But at the end of the day, he's still finding a way to get the ball in the right hands. It looks like Cordero Patterson is his number 1 target, and Kyle Pitts have been, getting some targets as well. But Matt Ryan has been putting up the stats again. He haven't really been throwing picks. Other than that Bucs game, I really don't remember him throwing another pick. And if he did, it was mainly probably, I think maybe the Washington football team probably got a pick. I don't remember. But overall, Matt Ryan has still been doing Matt Ryan things, and that's helping us, putting us in a good position to win games. But like I said, he needs help. But every week I'm seeing an improvement. 4 touchdowns last game, 0 interceptions. At the end of the day, Matt Ryan, it's nothing else Matt Ryan can do. He putting up 30-some points a game, 20-some points a game. The defense got to be able to make stops. So Matt Ryan, second on my list, and everybody already know who's number 1. Everybody already know who's number 1, and it's this guy, Cordero Patterson. He's been the MVP of this team. He's been doing it all in the run game, in the pass game, on special teams. He's been doing it all. Cordero Patterson is definitely my MVP so far for this team. He looks like Roddy White. He looks like Roddy White with the number and everything. He got the dreads. He looks like Roddy White. He's just an athletic Roddy White, man. He's doing it all. He's a Swiss Army knife, and I'm glad that he's on our team because he's been the fire that we've been needing for the past few weeks. and he's been leading this team, man. So shout out to to Cordero Patterson. So that concludes my top 5 list for the good players that's been doing a great job this season and the players that needs improvement. So next we're gonna get to the last segment, and you all know what it is. It's called the weekly game pick. So hopefully you guys will join this segment where we actually pick every game this upcoming week. Although the Atlanta Falcons will not be playing because we're on our bye week, there are still some good games that we got to get to. So hopefully send your comments in based on who you think will win each game. So first, we got the 9:30 game in London. It's going to be the Miami Dolphins versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars will be considered the home team, but they're both going to be in a neutral field. So in this game, I got to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. The reason why is because I feel like the Jacksonville Jaguars got to win. I feel like this is the game that they can win. The Miami Dolphins, they haven't been playing on a high level. To Tua Tagovailoa, he's out. Xavier Howard haven't been doing pretty good this year. Their defense took steps backwards. And I just feel like they really don't have many playmakers. So I think the Jacksonville Jaguars, even though they're not really a good team, I feel like they should be able to pull this one out. I think Trevor Lawrence will have a game of his life going into this game. But I definitely got to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars for this first game. Let me know in the comment box who y'all got. Miami at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's move on to the 1 o'clock games. We have the Minnesota Vikings at the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panties. I'm going to the Minnesota Vikings in this game. I feel like the Carolina Panties, they've been, they do have a pretty good defense, but at the same time, their DB position, scares me when they lost J.C. Horn. And then also you brought in Stephon Gilmore, but he probably won't play for you for the next 2 weeks. So at the end of the day, offensively, I do like DJ Moore. He's the guy. He's a guy. And Sam Darnold. He looks like he's in a new team. He's doing pretty good. But at the same time, Christian McCaffrey, I want to say he's hurt, but I don't know if he's not hurt. Hey, I do like Christian McCaffrey, but I definitely think the Minnesota Vikings should be able to win this game with Alan Thielen, with Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook coming out that backfield, and I definitely think the defense should be able to slow down the Carolina Panthers offense. And I think the Carolina Panthers also have been playing, a little bit better than people expected. So we got J-Man in the building. Shouts out to J-Man. He said he got the Jacksonville Jaguars in that first game against Miami, and he also got the Vikes as well. Hey, I appreciate the comment. Hey, if you're in the live, man, definitely send in your teams. Let me know who you picking for these games. Moving on to the next game, we got the LA Chargers at the Baltimore Ravens. So I'm actually gonna go against the grain this game. I'm actually going with the LA Chargers. I feel like the Chargers have a complete team. They just have to put it together. And every week they've been improving. I seen them play the Las Vegas Raiders 2 weeks ago, and they did a great job. And then I definitely think they should be able to win this game. I think they beat the LA Rams. Was it the Rams that they beat this last game? If somebody know in the comment box, let me know. But I definitely think the LA Chargers will win this game, even though Lamar Jackson has been able to improve with his arm talent. I think, all in all, they're going to slow down Lamar Jackson, and they're going to take away all his weapons. But at the same time, I feel like the Chargers is just the more complete team, even though the Baltimore Ravens, they're a great team. But I think they utilizing Lamar Jackson a lot. And I think that, he's going to eventually have to slow down. So I'm going with the LA Chargers in this game. J-Man said he's going with the LA Chargers as well. So let's move on to the next game. We have the Los Angeles Rams versus the New York Giants. I'm going with the Rams in this game. I mean, the Rams have a great team, man. We already know the big number 99, Aaron Donald. They got Jalen Ramsey, one of the top cornerbacks in the league right now. In my opinion, he's the top cornerback. And then also when you look at that offensive side of the ball, I mean, Matthew Stafford, he's getting that ball to D-Jax, man. Deshaun Jackson is doing his thing. So I got to go with the Rams in this game. Hopefully Matthew Stafford will stop underthrowing D-Jack and respect that man's speed. But all in all, I got to go with the Rams this game. New York Giants, they still trying to figure this thing out. They don't have a quarterback. I think Saquon Barkley got hurt last game. I want to say Daniel Jones is hurt as well. And then they lost a lot of their receivers. Kenny Galladay, I think Sterling Shepard's still out. Ingram's still out. And then defensively, they just not that team. So I'm going with the LA Rams in that game. Do we have any comments? No, not yet. Okay. Next, we have the Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts. I'm actually going with the Colts in this game, even though Houston is one of them teams that, they'll spike up on you in a minute, even though they don't have Deshaun Watson. I guess they trying to figure out what they're going to do with him. I think right now he's on the exempt list, the suspension list without actually being suspended right now. So right now, in the Houston Texans, they just don't have no talent like that. I mean, Mark Ingram, he'll spike up on you in a little minute. I think they got Tyrod Taylor, but so far I got to go with the Indianapolis Colts in this game. With Carson Wentz and those guys. I think they have a better team than the Houston Texans. Both teams aren't really that good, but I got to go with the Indianapolis Colts in that game. Next, moving on to the next game, we got the Kansas City Chiefs at the Washington Football Team. I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs this game, even though the Kansas City Chiefs haven't been playing their best football, but I definitely think they should be able to beat the Washington Football Team. I feel like, the Washington Football Team, and they do have a pretty decent defense, but at the same time, it's based on Taylor Heineke. Can he keep up with the Kansas City Chiefs offense? And I don't think he can. When you have Travis Kelce and you have Tyreek Hill, it's just, it's the weapons for me. But at the same time, the Washington Football Team, they do have a pretty good defense. I think their offense is what's going to hold them back. Going into the comments, Jaden Howard, he said he got the LA Rams. Of course, Glenn Jones has the Washington Football Team because that's his team. And then Jaden also said he has the Indianapolis Colts. So we're going to move on to the next game. We have the Green Bay Packers at the Chicago Bears. I'm actually going to Green Bay Packers in this game. I just feel like I can't go against Aaron Rodgers. Every time I go against Aaron Rodgers, I lose, and I normally don't go against Aaron Rodgers. So I'm going with the Green Bay Packers. Even though it's a division game, it's probably going to be a good defensive battle. And it's going to determine if. But I think the Bears do have a decent defense, but I don't know if Khalil Mack is out or in. But I definitely think if Khalil Mack is playing, he's definitely going to, be a factor. But I think the Green Bay Packers are the better team, and we don't know what Justin Fields is going to do. He's going against this division game. It's a big game for them. So I don't, I want to see more improvement out of Justin Fields. But I'm going with the Green Bay Packers in this game. Jaden said he's going with the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes. So next, we have the Cincinnati Bengals at the Detroit Lions. I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals in this game. Actually, the Cincinnati Bengals, they really are a pretty good team. They're a decent team. I do like Jamar Chase and with teaming back up with Joe Burrow. I think Joe Mixon trying to get out of there. I think he's trying to get out of there. But at the same time, I think overall, I feel like the Cincinnati Bengals have a way better team than the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell came in talking about biting off kneecaps, and so far, I haven't seen any kneecaps being bitten off. And I definitely think the Detroit Lions, they on the decline. Jared Goff, he just haven't been that guy, and they don't really have playmakers. So I definitely think that the Cincinnati Bengals are the better team going into this week. J-Man said he got the Green Bay Packers. Next, let's move on to the 4 o'clock games. We start off with the Arizona Cardinals at the Cleveland Browns. Now, this could be a potential good game, but I definitely think the Arizona Cardinals will win this game. D-Hop, Kyler Murray, that defense on the Arizona Cardinals, Christian Kirk, all those guys, they're going to come ready to play. And Cleveland, they still trying to figure out how they can get Odell Beckham involved. I don't believe in Baker Mayfield like that. Now, I do like Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and I do like their defense, but I definitely think the Arizona Cardinals, right now, I think they're still undefeated, and they're the better team going into this game, so I'm going to Arizona Cardinals. J-Man said he got the Cincinnati Bengals. He got the Cincinnati Bengals as well. Moving on to the next game, we got the Dallas Cowboys versus New England Patriots. I'm actually going to Dallas Cowboys in this game. For some reason, that defense, Dan Quinn got their defense playing. He could never get the Atlanta Falcons defense to play that good, but for some reason, he getting the Dallas Cowboys defense to play great. And Micah Parsons, he's been doing this thing. Trayvon Diggs, I mean, right now he's the best cornerback in the league right now, leading the league in interceptions. I mean, it's like every game he's getting an interception. He's making plays. So I got to give it to the Dallas Cowboys going against the New England Patriots. They still trying to figure it out. I think Tom Brady was the key player for the New England Patriots. Also going back to the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, they got a good receiving core with CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper and Gallup. And then also you got Zeke coming out that backfield along with Tony Pollard. But at the same time, Dak Prescott, he's been playing pretty good, but that defense has been holding the Cowboys down, and I think that's what's going to help the Cowboys win against the New England Patriots. Jaden said he got the Arizona Cardinals, and he has the Dallas Cowboys. So let's move on to the next game, the Las Vegas Raiders at the Denver Broncos. So we already know the Las Vegas Raiders, John Gruden. We already talked about that controversy. John Gruden is out of there. I think his name is Rich Biscaya, something like that. He's going to be the interim head coach. So I think that the Las Vegas Raiders will lose this game, even though I've always been an undercover Raiders fan. But I got them losing to the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos has actually been playing pretty good this season. I don't like Teddy Bridgewater, but at the same time, they have weapons. They have a good defense. And I definitely think the Denver Broncos will beat the Las Vegas Raiders. Division game, these two teams hate each other. And I think the Raiders, they won't be able to bounce back. Last week, they looked horrible against the Chicago Bears. And this week, I think it's going to continue because they're still trying to get over all the bombshell that happened with John Gruden. So I'm going with the Denver Broncos to win this game. Do we have any comments yet? Let's see, Facebook. No comments. Okay. So I'm going with the Denver Broncos versus the Las Vegas Raiders. And it's in Denver. Most likely it's probably going to be a little cool out there. And you're in Mile High City. It's hard to breathe there. So I'm going with the Denver Broncos. Next, let's move on to the Sunday night game. We got the Seattle Seahawks at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game. I think they're going to start to figure things out. Get a little better, even though Big Ben, I think this should be his last season. But at the same time, Russell Wilson, I think he broke his ankle or something like that. Pretty much he's out, for a good little amount of time. And the Seattle Seahawks, he was a main key for them. And I think that the Seattle Seahawks haven't been really playing great this season, and to lose your best player on your team, I think it's over with. So I got to go at the Pittsburgh Steelers, even though the Pittsburgh Steelers haven't really been doing good this year. I definitely think they should be able to beat the Seattle Seahawks, especially with that defense coming into it without no Russell Wilson. So I'm going with Seattle Seahawks. In the comment box, we got Jaden. He's going with the Denver Broncos, and he's also going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Moving on to the last game, the Monday night game, we got the Buffalo Bills at the Tennessee Titans. You already know where I'm going. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. This is my Super Bowl pick for the AFC. I got them representing the AFC, so I'm going to stick with my Buffalo Bills. They've been doing good. They've been playing a balanced game. They looking good. Defense looking good. Josh Allen, he's playing out of his mind along with Stephon Diggs. So I definitely think the Buffalo Bills will win this game. Even though the Titans, it's going to be a good game. But at the same time, I feel like the Buffalo Bills will be better than the Tennessee Titans. Derrick Henry, Julio Jones haven't been able to get into the end zone. He's been missing the past 2 games with a hamstring. I think he will play on Monday. And then also they got AJ Brown back last week. But at the same time, they haven't really been able to be on the field all at once. Consistently. And so I definitely think the Buffalo Bills will win this next game. Will win this game as well. Jaden is also going to Buffalo Bills. So that's pretty much it, man. Hey, I appreciate all the support. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. chatting with your boy. I just wanted to get you guys some content out there. It's gonna be me. It's gonna be a solo dolo show for a little while. My guy, BB Bush, the great. He's right now. He's in the Army and he has to fulfill his requirements. So he'll be in the fields for a couple of weeks. Probably going all the way into Thanksgiving. So it's gonna be a minute before he comes back. But until then, I'm gonna hold it down for us, man. But hey, catch us live every Saturday, the JMB, the Talk of the Dirty South show. Also catch the Fan of Atlanta 365 show, man. It's your boy Jay Howard, aka the official Georgia boy. So definitely tune in, man. Like I said before, Dave and everybody, I'm gonna definitely make sure that I alert you guys when I'm going live so that you can catch the show. You will see more content for the Fan of Atlanta 365 side of the house, especially with my boy BB Bush gone for a couple of weeks. I'm gonna be holding it down, man. So hey, appreciate it, man. Definitely tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your dog, tell your cat, tell your snake, tell your rat, and throw in your pet parrot if you have one. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also hit that notification button so you can know when I'm going live. You can know when I post a video. Also, hey, continue to support the channel. Hit that like button, hit the share button. Come in if you got something to say because your boy always coming back, man. Hey, I know the Falcons won't be playing this week, but at the same time, you get to watch some football, and I look forward to seeing that, man. Shout out to the Braves. Hopefully they win tonight. I think they're playing the LA Dodgers. Shout out to the Atlanta Hawks. They did a great, they had a good preseason game. Preseason. Now the season will be starting soon. I think it actually starts this upcoming week. So Atlanta Hawks, let's go ahead and finish how we did last season. We got to go ahead and try to win one. Let's go for it. I believe in you guys. I hope that y'all believe in these guys as well. Support the Hawks. Support the Falcons, man. Hey, we on our bye week. We're not looking bad. We 2-3. I feel like we're projecting in a vertical. We just have to get better. We got some hard teams that's gonna be coming through here soon. So we need to make sure we take care of the Dolphins, and then we'll take it week by week. But right now, it is what it is, man. We on our bye week. We 2-3. And that's just what it is, man. But until then, man, until next time, hey, it's been your boy Jay Howard, aka the official Georgia boy. It's been another episode of Fan of Atlanta 365, man. Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. And your boy, I'm out of here.